Stan Gibilisco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV, Whiskey 1 Good Vibrations. In my last video, someone asked a question. This is a prime example of why leaving comments open is so dangerous, and yet can be so much of a challenge and in a way so much fun. Someone asked me, how did I learn the Morse code? How did you learn the Morse code, Stan? There was a point when I was copying, quote unquote, or reading Morse code in my head at high speeds. I believe the highest speed QSO that I ever had in my life was with someone who claimed to be a 14-year-old girl in California. I wouldn't doubt it. There are a lot of very, very interesting people in California. I lived in Minnesota at the time, and I was into high-speed CW, QRQ. And there was a group of QRQ operators that hung around 7.030 megahertz and 14.030 megahertz back in those days, 1974, 1975. As if it was some sort of a fine art, we would cultivate our speed, and this girl and I had a contact at a speed that I later measured. I actually measured this speed at 68 words a minute. Now this was by reading it in our heads, and it was language that was familiar to us. It wasn't language like Shakespeare. It was language like radio hams use with each other, informal language. But we might ask each other, how did we learn to read the code that fast? And I don't think either of us would have had an answer, because I don't think an answer exists to such a question. How do you learn the Morse code? How does a tree learn to grow? How does a Major League Baseball pitcher learn to strike somebody out? How does a quarterback in the Super Bowl learn to throw a 57-yard touchdown pass in the last seconds of a game? How do you learn to do that kind of thing? And I think if you ask people like that such questions, they just give you this look. They just give you this look like, what the Sam Hill kind of a question is that? So I'm going to ask you, other CW operators, how did you learn the code? And I'm going to do the dangerous thing again. I'm going to leave comments open, exposing myself to ridicule, to criticism, to all kinds of strange responses. Yet, someone may actually have an answer to that question. And if you have an answer, a real honest-to-goodness answer, I think the world would love to know, because I do not. I just did it. It just grew on me. And that's all the more I can say about it. Plus, practice, practice, practice. Stan Gibilisco, W1GV, saying 73. And so long, which, in my native fist, learned or not, has always, does now, and shall forever after translate to da-da-da-da-da-da.